Bonjour, WPW Warriors. You are watching Women's Pro Wrestling Weekly, the #1 weekly show that's all about women's pro wrestling on the planet.
Yes. On the globe.
On the planet.
There's a really great one on Saturn. May have heard of it.
Today we have an amazing show. We're going to be doing WPW Star of the Week, wrestling news, all that good stuff, and we have a very special guest. My name is TK Trinidad, aka the Canadian Assassin, and we also have She's a Bad Mama Jamma, Sarah the Rebel.
It is I.
And America's chocolate sweetheart, the one, the only Evan T. Mack.
Yo, what up, TK? What's going on, girl? What's up?
Oh, so like we don't get the button-down shirt with the lower voice?
No, we got a button-down shirt.
Yeah.
There's just something.
I was trying to listen out.
So covering it?
Yeah, cover it up a little bit, man. It's hot out there, girl. Man, I need something that was breathable. You know what I'm saying? Got about the breathable material.
You know,
on.
it's breathable when you have it to the fourth button.
Yeah, that's true. That's what I was thinking. Like, what do you mean by breathable?
Your logic,
I don't know.
it's full of holes.
It really is. Hey.
I can't wait until next season when we get more in studio guests. I wonder if every, like, depending on the hotness of the in studio guests, it will like dictate how much
low.
chest. Yeah, how much.
Yeah,
chest
if it's somebody, if it's like Paige, I'll come here like butt naked though. If it's like Paige,
So will she.
Yo, don't get my hopes up, brother.
Well, we are in talks.
Yo, TK be putting it down, yo, man. Let's shout out to TK, man. She be getting all kinds of interviews, man. She be getting all kinds of women up in here.
It's the Canadian way. Anyhow, we have an amazing guest. We have Kiera Hogan, who's going to be joining us a little bit later on. But let's get into all of that good news.
Yeah. There's a couple things going on, you know what I mean, ladies? A few things that's out in the ether, you know, out in the air. But my girl AJ Mendez opens up about her mental health issues. She's kind of bringing awareness to something that's kind of like it's newer in the like mainstream. Like people, like celebrities, athletes are actually speaking out about mental health and what it means and how it affects them in day-to-day life. To just try to erase the stigma of what it actually means to have like mental health issues. She's the bipolar 2 disorder. And she kind of just opened up about it and just saying for every person living with bipolar disorder, no two experiences are the same. Some experience a depressive cycle once every few years, some a handful of times each year. Each cycle itself varies in length from days to months. She has her on and off days. So I just think it was cool to point out, like, you know, AJ back in the spotlight, not from a wrestling standpoint, but just showing what she's going through and then showing that human side of a celebrity.
I mean, I can't wait for her to. From what I've heard, she's kind of distancing herself from kind of the wrestling interviews. But I can't wait for her to either write something about that whole experience and also being left out. Like, we've talked about this on multiple times, different occasions, stuff like that. But it's just one of those things where even though her departure wasn't the greatest, you can't erase somebody from history.
Oh, no.
Oh, WWE show trying.
Well, you know, I mean, that's...
Well, how much do y'all think that is, like, he who will not be named, or you just think it's just an AJ thing? How much do you think that's about Punk? Like that, just literally leaving her off some of the greatest moments, you know, different things, like literally like being a part of that huge women's revolution before anyone started.
Right.
Well, how much do you think is a part of him?
I think it has something to do with him. I think combined, they did something that you didn't do, especially at that time. And, you know, we can say, those of us who are very informed and who are kind of older, we can say, oh, we see what you're doing, WWE. But the younger people watching this programming, they're not going to have any idea.
Yeah.
You know, they have effectively erased people from their history, and it's kind of frightening in a way.
Well, I mean... They don't call slavery anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all that. Like, you can literally, they don't discuss stuff like that. So, I mean, it's unfortunate. Then that's why I can't wait for her to talk about it. Or maybe she wants to be erased and doesn't want to be affiliated with WWE. So that could be something too. Yeah,
and I think it's interesting though, like some of the people that they're trying to erase, I know reasons why. You know what I mean? They, like murders and things like that. So I get it. And they even though they made an impact in the industry, they're like, okay, let's not. I didn't want our youth to know about that, but AJ retired on the top of her game. Yeah, and she crossed her T's, dotted her I's. Was a great ambassador to the company. Doesn't say bad things about the company. So like, for her to get erased though. You know what I mean? We were talking about China a few weeks ago.
Right.
And that always is going to rub me the wrong way for those people that really impacted the sport, especially women. We're talking about China and AJ though. You know what I mean? They've brought a lot to the table as far as like bringing a different type of woman. AJ brought a different type of girl. Yeah. Cool, nerdy, like chick, you know what I mean? Who's very athletic and still a woman, you know what I mean? I think that's kind of rubs me the wrong way.
I mean, the thing with history is that even though you have to include the good with the bad. So of course there's just because that person did a terrible thing and they so happen to work with the company, if the company didn't necessarily, like, once that happened, they fired them or whatever, then you can still include that person in the history because, you know, it's just the same thing with Moolah. Like, yeah, she shouldn't have been named, that shouldn't have been named after her, but they still include her in the history.
Yeah.
So it's like you can't. Everybody has their skeletons. Some of the skeletons are super big, like they do some crazy-ish, and some of them are small, but that small could have been like, you know, you like dressing up as a bear. Like, you know, it's stuff like that.
That's fair.
Timing. Thanks, Tony.
Thanks, Tony Tone. All right, Tessa Blanchard signs a new deal with Impact Wrestling. She made a wrestling debut earlier this year, Redemption, when she was the commentary for a matchup between Tia Valkyrie and Kiera Hogan. Since then, Blanchard has gone on to feud with Kiera Hogan, Madison Rayne. Recently, Blanchard captured the Phoenix of Rise Championship in Rise Impact Wrestling 9 Rise of Knockout events. I think it's cool when anybody gets somebody signs a new contract, signs a new deal. She seems comfortable where she's at right now.
It's really interesting, all the good stuff that's happening to her. She came in as the very first champion for PCW. We don't see her leaving for a while. The Shine thing happened because Delilah had an injury and couldn't defend it. And I think Shotzi also ended up being injured as well, and so that's why Tessa was able to go in and do that. And now with Impact, she was actually, this is some insider information, was just about to sign a contract with another place that I can't name, but it wasn't WWE. And so getting this Impact deal seems like everyone's reaching out to her right now.
Well, if she gets, I think she's in position for the belt, possibly, the way it's lining up. I think Madison Rayne's going to be doing the kind of it, and then I think she's in line to get the belt this year. I think so. She's been doing really well. When she started out on Impact, like, her character is crazy. You love to hate her, and it would behoove Impact to sign her for a long term because she's just that good. I mean, if they kind of let her go, guaranteed within about a year to 2 years, WWE would pick her up. Like, I know she was in the Mae Young Classic, I believe, and
was asked to leave after that.
Was
asked to leave due to attitude problems, but she's young, may have learned from that, and I think you're right. I think WWE sipped the tea. Yeah, she apparently was talking some smack, and WWE asked her to leave the Performance Center.
Wow,
but WWE does tend to forgive impulsive youth actions.
Oh, they do.
So
especially somebody who's so ingrained into wrestling.
Right. I think she's going to make it huge, and they're going to have to reach back out to her.
Well, after that contract.
Nice timing. Ronda Rousey confirmed for WWE 2K19. I guess people were thinking that was going to happen. The commercial was dope, though. The commercial was dope, man. I heard Piper. I was like, hold on, man. They really listen. They putting Ronda Rousey over, brother.
They've been putting her over.
I mean, like over.
The funniest comment I read was, "I'm so glad Ronda Rousey is going to be DLC so I can learn what moves she does."
yeah. And I forget. Somebody had another one. Listen, it was fire. I hate throwing shade, but someone was like, "Will they be rehearsing these matches as well inside the WWE 2K19?" I'm like, dear Lord. Oh man.
All in good fun, but it's really exciting to see her treated like such a big deal as a woman wrestler in a video game.
I don't know. Would you want to start on top, or would you want to work from the bottom and work it from the top? Like, obviously she started on the bottom for UFC and mixed martial arts and jiu-jitsu, all that stuff, and she worked her way to the top. But she's being given everything, which I understand on the marketing side, but it just feels like I would prefer to start at the bottom. Like, if you offered me this, obviously I'll take the money, but I'd rather start at the NXT and build it up where, like, you legitimately see the process.
I think part of the problem with the NXT thing is, from what I've been able to see, the deals that they offer are different for NXT, and so that's why we don't really see some things that would make more sense, because they have more of a salary cap in NXT. So that's probably why they didn't do that. But she could have still started at the bottom on Raw or SmackDown.
But Drew McIntyre, when he came back, he started NXT. His deal, he has said when he was on Xbox, his deal was a little bit different. So, I mean, that's just kind of my only thing. Again, when I first saw her on WrestleMania, it's like I didn't know where she was going to start.
Right.
I definitely appreciate and can respect, because I forgot. You kind of almost forget all the things that she did to get to the point where she was before this. So I respect that. However, the starting on top thing and then the two, it just.
From a wrestling fan perspective, it bothers me simply because it limits the stories you can tell with her. They're having to dance around her. That's what putting her on suspension saves everybody a headache.
And she can promote Mile 22.
Right. So it's just like, how often are you going to dance around this before they put the belt on her, and then they can never take the belt off of her for a very long time?
Yeah, that's the thing though. When she gets the belt, like when is she gonna lose? That's the one issue, because that's why the grind makes more sense,
right?
Especially in WWE, because I'm like, once she gets the belt, now you're gonna have to build up a person that can take it from her, and then that diminishes.
And that's part of what they ruined with Bayley. You know, they had her come up and gave it to her right away. If you have a baby face, what do we love cheering for? When Rocky's getting beat up and he stands back up for the 5th time, that's what we cheer for.
Oh, absolutely. They should have drew that up for a while, and then all of a sudden they're like, what's going on with Bayley? I'm like, well, y'all backburnered her now. Like, she's in the back.
Right. But I also understand Ronda Rousey. You want to get her while she's still potentially hot. You know, I can get it. So it seems like they were just in a complicated position.
They are, because they're getting so much press.
Yeah.
How can you turn that down?
Right.
Moving on, a Ring of Honor to investigate Taylor Hendricks' sexual harassment claims. So Taylor Hendricks, she had allegations against Jay Lethal. She claims he made sexual advances towards her upon her refusal. Her Ring of Honor contract was sabotaged. She feels like after she refused his advances, she was like let go from Ring of Honor.
Well, she didn't. She said she didn't just feel like it. She said someone like contacted her and told her that was why. Which is, I mean, how do you even get around to that rumor?
Yeah. If
it's just a rumor, how does that come about? You know?
Yeah. So my thing about it is like these are very dangerous times, man, and that not just for the men nowadays, because when a woman puts herself out like that in a male-dominated business, she's already said she's been getting like hate mail from different people in the industry and like fans and everything, like saying you're a liar, stop trying to ruin his life.
Right.
And so she's getting all this heat, and then Jay Lethal comes out and says, "Let me be clear, there's absolutely no validity to these baseless allegations. Throughout my career, I've sought to conduct myself with honor and integrity. I would never engage in any conduct that disrespects the business or men and women in the industry." So then you got a brother that's like, "Okay, I didn't do this."
Well, that's what you're supposed to say.
Yeah, that's what that.
I mean, like,
but just so the thing about it is, this is tough, man, because she's gonna have a hard time proving this.
And what's terrible is in the wrestling world, this is like one of the worst things you can do as a woman, because other promotions won't want to pick you up because they'll say you're a troublemaker. Just
That's
like
what
with
I'm
the
saying,
Me Too movement in acting, any woman who speaks up is a troublemaker regardless of whether or not it happened. And if they're finding that such an incredibly low percent, I believe it's only 4% of rape accusations are ever false. This is a sexual harassment one, which is usually more prevalent. People don't even know certain actions they take are sexual harassment sometimes. But to affect her career in this way, it's something they do need to look into seriously, because this will have far-reaching effects for the rest of her career.
Yeah, let me be clear. Like, is it more believable this dude made a sexual pass? Of course it is. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and act like that probably didn't happen. I'm sure. Listen, there's something happened. She's putting her whole life, like her wrestling career is on the line right now.
Well, yeah, that's the whole thing. And you could probably speak more to this. When you get into a situation like that where you're in tight quarters with these individuals and some of them become friends or acquaintances, certain things are said that could be termed as sexual harassment that you may not feel comfortable in saying at the moment because of the environment, but now that there's a platform and now there is some type of backing for women, you feel more comfortable. You know, it's a very
and there's one last thing too. If someone tries to sleep with you and you turn them down, two people can walk away from that situation with very different impressions of what happened just then, like what just occurred.
Yeah, so
he could have even been like, "Oh no, she was just total B-word and hard to work with, and that's why." You know?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like I said, when I say something happened, I don't know necessarily, like, because your mind goes to this place like, did he like really like grab her and like, you will sleep with me? You know what I mean? Like,
probably not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So then you're like, okay, maybe he was like, what's going on? Like, let's hang out a little bit later. And like, she's like, no, I don't want to do that. Like, you're not my type. And I was like, next time she's released.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like there's different extremes to it, and it's, like I said, it's one of them touchy subjects, man. And then now she's getting bombarded by these dudes, be like, "You're a liar, you're this, you're that." So she, like I said, I commend her bravery, because this kind of in this industry, it is still male dominated, man. People are just starting to talk about a women's revolution like right now.
But I wonder. So when she released this, did she release this online or did she release it to the company?
She did. I think she did the company, and then she did go on social media. You know, and she did put that out there on social media. So like when you do that, you do leave yourself open media. When you put yourself on social media, you leave yourself open for people to at you, put you in dimensions and stuff like that. So but anyways, moving on. Table for 3, Trish Stratus, Lita, Alexa Bliss, just cool. 3 dope ladies chilling, eating food, telling stories. I always like to see Trish. She's one of my favorites back in the day. She's fire back in the day, man. Oh, forgot she's from Canada too. Shout out to Canada.
Yeah. There's some talks too. There's some talks with that. Just saying.
Yeah, and it was cool to hear. Like, there was a really cool moment, and they showed in this clip about how like Alexa was kind of like talking about how she kind of was disappointed she didn't get to go in the Women's Royal Rumble. And Lita was like, we never get time off. So like, this is kind of like a break for you. You know what I mean? We don't get time off unless we're injured, Lita said. So she's like, it's kind of like bittersweet that you got to see this moment, but you weren't a part of it.
And there's going to be more. I mean, I understand you want to be in the first. But, she's in the record books as far as being champion. And Alexa, she's phenomenal. Like, as far as mic skills, like, you love to hate her. There's nothing better than somebody that you absolutely want the belt to, like, you want the belt to be off her, but she's so amazing. Like, you love to hate her. Like, I love characters like that. Yeah. So kudos to her for that. I unfortunately, like, I think I was talking to you like a day or two. I was like, we need to talk about this, and my super busy ass did not get a chance to watch it. It's on my to-do list because I love seeing the Table for 3, especially with the women. So. Yeah.
Awesome.
I guess you didn't see it either, sir. Yeah.
Didn't know it was that. I don't ever watch Table for 3.
It's good though.
It's really good.
It is. There's cool stories, funny stuff, eating food. That's a clever concept.
Sometimes food.
Yeah,
eating food. I love that they actually really do eat their food. It's not like it's not like a sitcom. They're like eating their food while they're talking.
Sometimes it's nice to see people talk. I mean, they're obviously talking about their wrestling experiences and also, but all the little things that you don't get to talk about or you don't see on the show, or they talk about. I can't remember. I might be confusing Sean's stories, but with rental cars and their situations with that, and just those little stories that you don't necessarily get to see or hear. It's not tweetable. Just to see them talking about it.
Moving on, Tony. I'll let you boy. And this just came to my attention like right before we came on the air, man. WWE releasing some curvy collection on the shop. Curvy collection for curvy ladies. Now you had a great thought.
Why you look at me?
Never. Because you had the great. Don't you dare. Because it was because you had a great thought. You're like, oh, that's because of Nia Jax. Like,
I wonder if it is. Yeah.
Like that was a good thought. I'm sitting there like that does make sense. So, and it's like. Because if you've been on the shop, anyone got a shirt from the shop, like the lady size, they tight, man.
And
are they really? They're pretty standard.
Man,
no, they're not
small.
Standard. Last time I was on there, they're small. They don't fit really great, and a lot of times you end up just having to buy men's shirts. Like Sasha has more men's shirts than women's shirts. Last time I was on there, so it's like
I cut up a lot of the shirts. I end up cutting up a lot of shirts, but
and I think and they're bringing a curvy collection for the ladies with different body type than the cookie cutter standard.
So are these just t-shirts? Or are they like workout gear? Or
the shot I seen it looked like one of those pretty nice like material, but it was a t-shirt and it was like very like kind of like loose, but it was form fitting. It looked like a regular shirt to me. You know what I mean? It ain't like those small, tiny, tight shirts you can see. So I think it's really cool that they're WWE. They always try to be a step ahead of a lot of people when it comes to especially their apparel.
Some of them.
Oh, when it comes to marketing, Lord have mercy.
Their marketing's on point, but that's usually after they finish watching other people.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that they're ahead of the curve with
apparel and stuff.
With apparel, I wouldn't say.
You don't think so?
No, I told you, man. That
you don't like the way they make their shirts.
Well, the way they make the shirts, the fact that it took them so long to let leggings be a thing. And actually, they're not selling the leggings; they're licensing leggings out now. But like, they don't really have a lot of different things that you would think people would want.
Right.
Like, they seem mostly geared to like big guys want a T-shirt. Like that's what their whole
they just sell so much though.
Yeah, they do. So but it's kind of funny at Hot Topics, the Bullet Club. I was there, and they were saying like they either have super big shirts or super like the middle in betweens. Like they don't have a market for that.
Yeah, like Hot Topic doesn't have like any ladies, like rarely any.
No, I got a whole bunch of shirts and I just cut them all up.
Yeah, and I love Hot Topic though. They get a lot of my shirts from there, but they gotta.
I'm hoping that they do something in tap out for her. I mean, that would be kind of cool.
That would be cool.
And finally, first entrant to the Mae Young Classic. Shout out to Anissa for that. Caitlyn to make the in-ring return to the Mae Young Classic.
She's the first entrance? I thought they already made a few entrants, no?
This is the first official.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
ESPN reported it first, yeah.
So, when ESPN does it, it's official.
I mean, I followed, it's a former guest. I believe it's Marty Bell, but don't quote me. But she kind of hinted at some stuff, so I think she might be in the Mae Young
There's a few
as
people
well.
that we're really thinking though.
Yeah.
We trying to
we made some
probe them a little
predictions.
bit, and they're like, nah.
So yeah, we'll see.
You know, Chelsea Green ended up at the tryout. To me, that's a real big sign.
That's
A former guest.
I think she'll be in.
We're
there.
very good luck.
Yeah, we are. Just how we do.
So yeah, that was just trying to let y'all know, man. The first entry to the Mae Young Classic. We talked about it before, as far as like people you want to see in there. Who would you really like to see? Anybody that comes to mind? I've seen that they were eyeing this. I guess it's a Filipino girl. She's in the Philippines. She wrestles, and I've seen they're like she might be in the Mae Young Classic. I've
There's a
seen that
girl
on
from
Diva Dirt.
Jordan.
Yeah, shout out to Diva Dirt.
I've heard the name MJ Jenkins might be somebody they have in there.
Well, y'all know my favorites.
Yeah.
Ivelisse is definitely one, but they haven't
Yeah.
contacted her. I really, when I have some time, I just go to bat for people I like. I don't want to figure out what's going on with that because she's badass. So I definitely
really
want
is.
to see what's going on with that. But I think she's got the top one that comes to mind that I would love to see,
Yeah.
but I'm 90% sure she's not going to be in this one.
I already told y'all I want to see Willow Nightingale in there because she's got this awesome look and a different energy than I've seen anybody else in the Mae Young competition have.
So I don't know. We'll see.
Hey, all right.
It'd be also too interesting to see people who I'll be also interested to see people who valets.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Instead of just always having the wrestler and it be so plain, right? Like it feels kind of plain and stagnant the last one. Not stagnant, but like sterile, I think is the word I'm looking for. It felt very separated from everything else.
Yeah.
And I think having valets, having more to talk about, having some alliances, that would really add a lot to this tournament.
Almost, yeah, because we have enough ladies who have enough experience where it's because some of the ladies on last year's show you can definitely see how green they were. So I feel like there's enough indies out there, and you can go to other places that if you come to Mae Young, this is to showcase to the point that you've got versus
Right.
this is like my close to my very first match within the first year. Like I don't feel
Well, that was such an interesting choice. I think they did it on purpose. And I'm still not entirely sure why they did it, but some of the women in that are actually women who I would consider bad at wrestling.
Yep.
And they had them lose early on, so they knew that too. So
Right.
it's like, what was the reasoning there? Are they just trying to give new women a chance to showcase? Is it that they looked multicultural? Was it that
Yeah, what
they
was
want people to look visibly weak so that other people can, like squash matches, look stronger? I've always wondered what was the reasoning there.
This just out from Pro Wrestling Sheet. I want to say a friend of ours. They've kind of picked up a lot of our stories. They have learned WWE officials are internally discussing the idea of presenting an all-women's event for main roster talent in the fall.
Wow.
Awesome.
I can dig it.
That would be great. Make it a tag team tournament.
Yeah, I mean, Becky Lynch has been definitely talking about that. There's more than enough women. But again, here's my concern, which I've talked about many, many times. One, wrestling time for super wrestling fans, just keeping up with all that stuff. Two, will we be able to showcase the talent that we have now? Because I feel like with SmackDown and Raw, there's talent that we tend to not see on both the men and women's side that we used to see on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So I want to see. I'm a fan. I'll always be a fan of Naomi. I want to see Naomi more. And the storylines are a little bit on the weaker side too.
Right. They are lately. I think I read
Yeah.
that this was the lowest rated Raw possibly of all time.
Yeah.
Definitely of 2018.
2.6 million.
And I think it's because we are bored with the stories that
Yeah.
they're telling right now.
Yeah, that's definitely a huge factor, especially with Raw, when people they know there's going to be no Universal title represented. Not even, brother ain't even showing up, you know what I mean? And he still is box office. That has something to do with it when you're like checking out because, I'm not going to watch the main event.
But even if like Brock, and I think he doesn't have a cell phone up there, but even if he were to do something, I know we're getting away from the win, but even if he were to do something like Bianca Blair did on her honeymoon, she's calling out these chicks. And it was legit because she was talking, like I saw the pictures of her on vacation. So, even with that, I would take that too, like talking some ish, like, yeah, I'm not coming, and what? Or a picture of him sitting on his couch watching TV as it's going on, like something where people are still generating the hate or the whatever. So
yeah, but go back to what you're saying about the women's thing. You also were saying how do you feel like there's not enough women to make a tag team division?
Oh, there's enough.
If they do like both, like NXT SmackDown Raw, or just like SmackDown and Raw, or like make it one title?
I think there's enough for both, and that's why I thought that was weird that Becky's was told, "Oh, there aren't enough women."
That's what I'm
because
bringing
that's
that
a
up
really weird thing to say, especially for a tag team. You can always carry a weaker team member in a tag team.
Well, I was listening to that Becky interview, what she was talking about, and she was referring to she's been pushing for it for years, and the time that she really started pushing for it, that was the time where when they made that initial split with the brands, there wasn't enough women, because I was like, why are they even splitting the women? There should just be women. So I think the game plan is to flood it. There's enough women on NXT with the Mae Young Classic. We have people coming up that are being signed. Chelsea Green is being there. I'm sure she's going to make it through because she's amazing. So we have enough women that signed that it should create a tag team. But again, my fear is that with the tag team, there's just not enough airtime to see all these women. And with that, are some people going to lose their jobs? Are they just going to be, because even if you don't see them and they're doing live shows, then how much publicity are they getting?
Yeah.
Right.
So, but that leads to another woman who I actually, speaking of Mae, so I said Eva Lise, I definitely a pick for Mae Young. Definitely Jazzy. So she's cleared, so I hope to see her. And so we know Eva Lise is probably not going to make it, but this young lady that we have coming up, we interviewed her last week. She's actually going to be at Bar Wrestling this week. So if you are in the California area, definitely check that out. Kiera Hogan from Impact. Well, actually, she probably won't be in the Mae Young Classic because she signed to Impact. Would that be a conflict of interest?
It would if it's during that time.
Yeah.
Well, she's good anyway. She's amazing. She's cute. She's just so, her interview, she said something about age. Yeah, she said something about getting old at 24. It was very cute.
She was
very
like,
sweet.
as my body's getting older,
Yeah.
we were always like,
Hold on, girl.
So we got to interview her. So if you're noticing that wearing different clothes, it wasn't.
We just real fast.
Yeah, it was fast. But definitely an amazing interview. So definitely check that out. Tweet us. Let us know how you feel about the interview.
Also, one more thing, we are going to do a best of show in the future, so we are going to be tweeting and Instagramming questions. Let us know what your favorite moments for the show were, and let us know if you have any questions for us as hosts, because we may include something special for you in that video.
Yeah, like why I rep Canada all the time. There's a reason. I know.
She repping at your heart.
You gotta be careful because you don't want to.
I know. But definitely enjoy that interview. We're going to see you guys next week. We are kind of finishing up season 1. Season 2, we have a lot of great things planned. I'm really, really, really excited. We have a lot of great guests as well. But other than that, enjoy the interview.
Johan Pena.
We have the girl on fire Impact Knockout. Please welcome Kiera Hogan.
Hi.
What up?
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm very well. How's everybody doing?
Oh my gosh, I love your accent. This sounds terrible. I would not
really?
Yeah, it's like you're in America, but it's totally different. It's just so cute.
Yeah.
But then you could beat somebody's ass, so it's just like.
She's like, I have the most adorable voice. Also, look out.
Yes, I can beat your ass. On top of that, don't let the size fool you.
Don't get it twisted.
So let's kind of get into it. So how many years have you been wrestling for?
3 years.
So 3 years, and then you also was doing announcing and other stuff on top of that. So what's kind of you have some people who start wrestling, they've kind of been all over the place. They kind of traveled, they spent a lot of time in the indie circuit. You got into Impact Wrestling. What has that experience been like?
Honestly, a dream. I watched TNA back when I was in middle school and high school, so to even be a Knockout is crazy to me. To be a part of the division and to be on TV is still crazy to me. Like, I still even can't believe, even when people come up to me or like my pictures or tell me they watch me, it's crazy, because it's just like, I've only been wrestling for 3 years. I've been in the business for about 4, almost 5 years, announcing and interviewing. So to even be in my position is still like not real.
And this has been your dream for a long time. It's not like you went off and did something else and you're like, okay, I'm just going to do wrestling now. This has kind of been the goal, and you went to wrestling school, and now here you are.
Yeah. Like, I knew at some point when I was like 14 or 15 that I wanted to be a wrestler. Like, that's all I ever wanted to do. I wanted to go to college to play soccer, just so that I could go to wrestling school in Florida. Like, I wanted that to be like my plan, to tell my parents so that I could be a wrestler on the side. But I ended up staying in Atlanta and training a WWA 4, and 5 years later, I'm in this position.
So you're billed at 4'11". Did you
Yes.
ever feel like your size would be an issue going into wrestling?
No, I don't think I ever thought of it being an issue because I always looked up to girls that were smaller. Mickie James and Melina and AJ Lee and Trish, like, were all built under, 5'3", 5'4". So I just assumed, like, I was going to fit right in. And even wrestling the tallest girls, I wrestled Madison Eagle. She's 6'1", and, like, even to wrestle her is crazy for me because she's almost exactly 2 feet. Like, she's almost 2 feet taller than me. I never ever thought that being short was an issue, especially girls like Zelina Vega, she's my height, and I used to tweet at her to tell her, thank you so much for being your size because you make me feel like I can do this and I can be normal too. So I never thought my size would affect it.
You said I could be normal too. That's
When you're short,
I can be like everybody else.
So you came up with the concept. I think what stood out for me when I saw you is the fact that it's like, first, your name is Hogan, so let everybody know who doesn't know who you are. That is your name, so it wasn't like a playoff. So that kind of got my attention. But then the hair, though, like the fire red hair, got the attention
it's not
too.
out today.
No,
it needs to be put away. It's too much right now.
Trust me, I understand. I know where you're coming from. So, how did you come up with the concept of the girl on fire?
You know, it's funny. My boyfriend actually gave me the idea. He was the one who told me, like, at a point I had my first match. I had this big chip on my shoulder. I didn't have to come in training. I didn't have to go work out. I didn't have to do all these things because I thought I was the big dog because I had my first wrestling match. I was like, oh, I can do this without coming to training. And I kind of felt lost at some point. I kind of got really beside myself and got like off track. And my boyfriend, Owen Knight, was like, you need to find your fire. You need to have that determination and that strength and that just dedication to this because you're going to have to be committed to it. And for some reason, that just instantly clicked with me. And I was like, I can be the girl on fire. I can be that determination because this is, again, all I've ever wanted to do. So I knew if anybody was going to be on fire, it was going to be me.
And now we did have Gail Kim on the show a couple of episodes ago. What's it like working with such a industry legend?
Oh my God. Gail has to be hands down one of the nicest people I have ever met. She is just in love with wrestling. Like, just to be able to work with her and just I've never met somebody I feel like that is just so in love with the business. Like, she just loves every single minute of it. Even though she's not even wrestling, she is so in love with the business, especially women's wrestling. She is all down for women empowerment and women getting the same treatment. Like, that's all she preaches to us knockouts. And I couldn't be any more grateful to have her in my life at all because I never thought that would happen.
Wow. What was your experience like when you wrestled Ivelisse? How was that?
Oh, hard hitting. That girl. Woo! Man, that girl is the real deal. She is definitely the real deal. But we just have an instant chemistry, and I think it's just because we both have fiery personalities. But like, we literally just have really good in-ring chemistry, and she is a good leader, and she is just a really good person. And again, she's in love with wrestling. She's been wrestling for a very long time. She was one of my bucket list matches. Like, I have a list of people that I want to wrestle, and she was definitely she was my second, honestly. And when I got to wrestle her the first time 2 years ago, I definitely wasn't in the same mindset as I am now. So to be able to wrestle her recently, and I'm going to wrestle her again in August in a steel cage, I'm instant chemistry.
And you said you have the bucket list, so who else is on that bucket list?
Good question.
Well, number one is Mickie James, obviously, because she's my idol. And I don't know if that's ever going to happen because she's in WWE right now.
Well,
speak it for you. It's happening.
Put that in the universe.
I'm going to wrestle Mickie James. She wants to wrestle me. Like, I've literally been going to meet her at her meet and greets and stuff since I was 17 years old.
Oh, wow.
And the last time I saw her was at her first appearance at Shimmer, and she was like, when are we gonna wrestle? So we have to wrestle. Like, it has to be. But Ivelisse was definitely second. Melina, who I've spoken to as well. I would love to wrestle Trish Stratus and Lita, but that's far-fetched. But a couple of indie girls like Mia Yim, I really want to have a singles match with Mia Yim, and I got to wrestle Tessa, who was somebody I met 4 years ago. And now to be in the position that we are in now, too, I got to wrestle her. But there's so many people on the list. Like, I just love wrestling people for the different, like, aspects and different skill sets. And you get to wrestle people that come from different backgrounds or different religious or, like, ethnicities. Like, just to be able to wrestle different people from all these different places is a test. And you can learn so much from wrestling different people. So to wrestle anybody, honestly, I would love.
Now, we did have Marty Bell on the show I don't even know what episode. We had Marty Bell on the show, and she was talking about how there was somebody had told her, they prefer her to have her hair straightened. Now, have you ever experienced any, things that might have been more on the racial side of things as far as wrestling and them asking you to do things, or did you not think you got a position because of the skin color?
I have had a situation with me not getting something because of my skin color, but never in the sense of you should change this or you should do this. I always did what I felt like I wanted to do. Like, my hair is curly now. If I wanted to wear it straight, if I wanted to wear it short, if I wanted to wear it black, if I wanted to wear it red, natural. Like, I've never had any issues with my appearance, but definitely I have had an experience with my skin color not getting me a position in wrestling.
You want to tell us about that?
On that?
It was international.
Uh-huh.
And it was a tryout that I had, and it was either the person that was going to be picked was me or the white girl, and the owner said he would rather have the white girl because she was white and I was black, but we were both pretty, but my skin color didn't give me the international opportunity.
Wow.
What region of international, what area on the globe?
Can you point on the globe where the racism hurt you?
Can you put on the map where?
Wow.
Japan.
I knew.
I had a feeling that was the case. Okay.
That's what I thought it was.
Wow.
That's what I thought.
But was that before Impact or after Impact? Or not after Impact? Was that before Impact?
Before.
And now you're Impact, so.
Oh, I bet they feel dumb.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah, so that's okay,
Now, so you've had the Girl on Fire for about 3 years, right? As far as the concept, are you looking at changing it anytime soon, or adding to it?
There's no putting out the flame anytime soon. I just feel like I've found something that I love, and I found something that I feel as though I've grown into. Like, when I first started, I was just kind of feeling it out. But in the past 3 years, I've learned to market and, like, produce myself as this brand, being the Girl on Fire. And right now, I feel like in this era of wrestling, there is a lot of fire gimmicks. There's a lot of, oh, this person's on fire. Oh, this person's on fire. Like, I feel like it's just the era of fire. And I feel like if I change it, then I would be changing it because it's so popular now. When it goes out of style, I'm still going to be here. I would like to evolve the Girl on Fire. I'm just not sure in what sense. Like, I've played with the idea of, like, the Phoenix and doing something with that, but definitely an evolution of the Girl on Fire is something I've been trying to think of, but I haven't quite gotten it yet.
Okay. And now, you said that you, in previous interviews, that you did speak to Brooke Hogan, because obviously Hogan. Have you been in contact with her recently as far as possibly doing something? Because I think she does want to do a women's wrestling kind of organization. I don't know how far along she is with that, but has there been any communication the last few months?
I haven't spoken to her anytime soon. And the first time I did hear something, it was through somebody else. But I've, like, tweeted at her, and I've, of course, tweeted at Hulk Hogan, like, how Velveteen Dream was doing. I was trying to do that because my name is Kiera. But, like, even when I first got into wrestling, people just assumed that I made it up. Like, my name was, like, my stage name.
Right.
Like, it wasn't my real name. So I even got a lot of backlash. Somebody on Twitter was like, Kiera Hogan, why would you pick that name? It sounds very white.
Oh gosh.
That's my
And I was
name.
like, excuse me, I'm sorry, that's on my birth certificate.
Well, you can tell them long ago there was this thing called slavery, and
Thank
names
you.
came
I'm
about.
like, I didn't pick this name for me, okay?
Yeah, my name's Superweight.
Wait, what? You're telling me? What?
Look, it is what it is.
Oh boy.
It is what it is.
Now, they haven't finished naming all the people for the Mae Young Classic 2. Have you been contacted about that, or?
Nope, not at all.
Not at all. Okay, just.
No, I haven't gotten contacted by WWE in 2 years, and I had a tryout 3 months into my career. And I got contacted. I actually got contacted at a Raw event. I was like at Raw just watching the show, and as I'm sitting in the bleachers with my boyfriend, I got an email about sending in more information, and after that I didn't hear anything, and I got signed with Impact, so I was like, I'm definitely out of the running now.
Maybe just momentarily. There's always, you know what I mean. There's always room for.
They brought James Ellsworth back, so he doesn't do anything.
All bets are off.
Yeah.
True.
I mean, he doesn't even have a chin.
No,
they brought him. They brought him back.
Oh my God.
No disrespect, but all bets are off.
No disrespect, but disrespect.
It's not disrespect. It's not disrespect when it's true. He doesn't have a chin.
With all due respect.
So I mean, they brought him back, and I mean, yeah, he's doing his thing, but he's not really. Well, I mean, he's wrestling Asuka next week, but you know that's gonna be just for fun. Yeah. So I personally think, because the matches that you've been having on Impact are with such amazing people, and they've been such amazing matches that from what I've heard with WWE, they just watch. They like to watch, and they like to continue watching, and then the last minute, when you think, all right, I'm good, and this is, you know, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to travel here, I'm going to do that, that's when they make the call, and you're like, oh, shoot, I forgot about y'all. So, you know, I definitely feel like you're gonna make it there sooner than later.
Yeah, we're putting that thought in the universe so you can wrestle Mickey James, because I want to see it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's hope that happens for sure.
Thank you.
What do you feel is like one of the biggest challenges you face in like the pro wrestling industry, as far as like just like anything? What do you feel like the challenge you faced before or currently? Anything?
Well, my personal problem now is just, I feel like even though I'm on TV, I'm still plateaued. I still feel as though like I'm getting like a little rise, but not as much as like I honestly feel like I should. Like, as me seeing my progress, and I definitely still have my faults. I'm not going to say that I don't. I'm definitely still learning. I feel like even with other girls, like there's so many more talents that need to be looked at. There's so many more girls that deserve opportunities that other girls are getting. But you know, it's just the mix and the shuffle and what's hot now, and like what people are wanting to watch, really. But I don't know, I just feel like I said, I'm trying to evolve my character, because I feel like I'm just missing something. Like now I feel like I need a spark. I need something to really set it off, and then I'll get that big jump. But right now I just feel like I'm like plateauing.
So is it more of a storyline thing with Impact, or?
Even that, like I feel like I'm just in the mix. Like I'm doing my job. Like I'm just in the mix. I want to be the main event star. I want to be the reason people turn on the TV, which I feel like I am. Like I definitely get people telling me like I'm the reason that they watch Impact, which is great. But I want to be in that main event spot. I want to show why I'm there. Like I want a story.
What story? Is there anything you're thinking about though? What do you think that would put you over the top? Is there anything you're thinking about or trying to come up with, like while you're?
It's so funny. In high school and middle school, I used to write my own storylines. Like I used to have a fan fiction, if anybody knows what that is. So I used to write fan fictions of like people that wrestled in WWE when I was watching, and I can't ever think of anything for myself. Like when it comes to me, I just can't write like I did. Like I used to write books of made up storylines that I wanted to happen, and I can't do it for myself, and I find that so weird. But I just feel like, again, I'm just missing something. I don't know what it is yet.
Okay.
My boyfriend used to do that same thing, and he says he has the same problem. Yeah, that like they would role play. They did it more like a role play style versus just straight fan fiction. But it's the same thing. Let's be real, boys and girls just call things different things. Yes. But he says he had the same problem of like trying to apply any of those types of storylines to his own wrestling. He said he couldn't do it.
Could it be that you're now on that platform versus you're kind of away from it, so you're able to kind of develop the creative juices, and now that you're kind of there, it's like it's harder to put yourself in that storyline?
I think honestly that might be what it is, because I'm there and it's just like thinking about what could happen. I don't see it for me. Like, I can see it for other people. I can think of great things for other people. But when it comes to me, I can't think of anything. And it's just like, I have this great character and this great platform to be able to show this character. And what am I missing?
I'm thinking of Taya Valkyrie, another person, guest from the show, because she has that whole like queen royalty thing, and then you could take the girl on fire, and you know, you're almost like the goddess of the sun because it's the fire and all this other stuff. And now you have a clash of that. So there's like a build up because, you know, she's more senior than you, so she's gonna think that, and on top of that, you know, you did say it yourself, you're on the, you know, the shorter side of things, so she can kind of take that, she might take that as, okay, she can't hold a candle to me. And now you're like, no, you don't know who you're dealing with, and then you have that, you know.
Was the "you can't hold a candle to me" an intentional fire pun or an accidental?
Just a little.
Right.
Just a little.
I try to stick with fire puns too. Like, when people say fire, I have some good ones.
Yeah. So I mean, I could see something like that where it's like almost like two like royal kingdoms going up against each other.
That sounds like my Barbie battles I used to have.
Did you say Barbie battles?
Yeah. I used to gather my Barbies. They had a queen of each kingdom, and they would go to war.
Barbie.
Go to war.
Yeah, they would have wars. Why are you looking at me like this? There was a fire kingdom too. She used to fight the Ice Queen.
Shout out to Barbie.
Oh,
Shout out.
Shout out to Mattel. You gotta put Mattel over, brother.
Oh, wow. I
really threw TK off.
Every time we do a show, there's just something new I learn about my co-host.
That's why you don't invite strangers to be on your show.
I know, right? Which now it just makes sense. Like when you find somebody's an only child, it's like, oh, that all makes sense. So
you're a savage.
That all makes sense.
Oh, so like speaking of action figures, you have like your own action figure, right? Like the Mini Me Factory.
Yes, I have a little figurine.
Yeah, what was that experience like making your own action figure? Not everyone gets to have their own action figure.
Oh my God, I like forget about that. Like, and when people bring it up, I'm like, what are they talking about? But I have it sitting like at home on my like fireplace, my mantle, because I have like my own. But I went into this place. This is a personal shop. Like, he's a family business owner. Like, he did it himself. He thought of this himself. It's a 3D camera imaging, so it takes a bunch of pictures of your whole body at one time. And I had to be in full gear. So that's actually just a 3D picture of me. I had to be in my full gear with my hair and makeup done. Unfortunately, I don't have that on today.
Girl, you're fine. You're fine.
But it was like a crazy experience because I literally, and we did a couple of them. Like, I took a couple in different poses and different gear, and so we have a bunch of different like options. But the white one was like my like classic Girl on Fire is like the white, and I love my white gear. It has to be like my all-time favorite. So we did the classic white because that's the first picture he saw of me was me in my white gear. So he was like, we have to do the white gear.
Awesome.
Now, what's the hopes for your career? So you're new into the career. Obviously, the great thing about women's wrestling now is you see a whole bunch of women who've been in it for a long time, and you can kind of see different paths as far as, you know, they did WWE, now they're WWE, now they've done the indie circuit, they've kind of done their own thing. Where do you hope your career is going to take you?
In the past few months, I've like looked at my career so differently. Like, my dream will always be to go to WWE because that's, as a little girl, that's what I wanted to do. But right now, I want to be able to learn, grow, and become the best wrestler I can be before I go to the big stage. Like, I want to be so ready that they're chasing me down. That's how ready I want to be. So at this point, I'm not even going to I've always put timestamps on things. Like, I wanted to do this at this time, and I always put timestamps on goals. But like, now for my career, I'm really looking at it is whatever happens, happens. Just learn, keep growing, keep your ears open, do what you know, and when your time comes, it'll be your time.
And it's the perfect timing, especially with like the women's evolution on everything, including wrestling. Like, you know, we have a whole show, obviously, Women's Pro Wrestling, where we have different women from all over the place coming on the show. So it's such a perfect time, you know, for you to be where you are. Now, you did mention on a previous interview that you did experience some social media bullying, online bullying.
I did.
Oh boy.
I did. Oh my God. Like, I just don't understand, like, internet trolls. Like, what satisfaction do you get out of that? Like, those people will never be able to step in my shoes ever in their life. So what makes you think that you can talk to me any kind of way and I'm not going to say anything because I'm going to stand up for myself? There's no day, time, place that you will ever be able to step in my shoes, ever.
Yeah, I just think when people don't know what, like, a lot of people aren't talented though. You gotta understand where they're coming from. They have like no talent, so so they just sit around and they're just like, man, I'm just gonna talk trash real quick because I wish I was doing this, man, but I ain't doing this. So let me just talk about Ms. Hogan because I'm poop. That's pretty much how it goes.
That should be a shirt.
I hope their comments are creating oxygen for them to breathe.
Yeah,
like, I think that's what it is.
If you poop, you poop. You know what I mean? You got to admit that you poop. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. So like they troll you, and that's the thing is their whole goal in life is to get you to respond. Once you respond, nothing else matters. You're like, oh yeah, I'm bothering her. I'm ruining her day. We got him now. Yeah. We got her right where I want her. She responded to my poop tweet.
How many times do we need a?
That's real though, because bullying. Bullying really bothers me. It really does, man. Especially when you behind the screen and you ain't never gonna meet that person. You know what I mean? Because that's when things get real. But like, it's like when you really trash talk a person, they want you to respond. So, but I know at the same time you want to defend yourself though.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And I was bullied in middle school, like death threat bullied.
I was too.
In middle school.
I was too.
So to get bullied as an adult and like to be in the mindset I have now, it's just like you're not going to talk to me any kind of way. Period.
And you can beat people up. So
yeah, for real.
Right.
I wouldn't.
And I can defend myself now. So try me.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
That's the response all the time now. Come see me. This is where the show is.
What do you do in order to get ready for shows and kind of stay in shape?
So I actually just started going to the gym a few months ago, like religiously.
Wait, what?
What do you mean just started going to the gym?
I feel you, girl. Don't let me
yesterday?
Explain. Let me explain. I played soccer, so I was in athletics my whole life. Like my parents put me through athletics. I did ballet, gymnastics, whatever you can think of. And when I got into wrestling, I was like, oh, it'll be kind of easy for me. And it was. Like some of the things that I did learn were easier to come by because I was already in athletics and I already kind of had an athletic background. But I've never lifted weights. I've never been in the gym lifting weights, or I would run the treadmill with my mom when she went to the gym. But like when I first started wrestling, I was not in the gym. I was in training 3-4 days a week. So that was like that was all I did for fitness. But now, because especially in the WWE, weightlifting and fitness and looking in incredible shape is such a big thing right now. Like the fitness and nutrition world is taking over the wrestling world. Like everybody's into proteins and meal prep and going to the gym all these days out of the week and lifting videos. Like it's just like fitness is taking over wrestling.
Right.
So it had to become a part of my routine. Like I had to pretty much force myself in the gym. One, because I'm getting older, so I'm starting to notice me packing on more pounds.
How old are you?
Girl, bye.
I'm only 23.
Girl, bye. You a 90s baby.
I should just sink away into my crypt.
We done with this interview right now. We done.
No, but high school into like my 20s, I was just noticing like I can't eat stuff like I was. Like I was just like eating junk and like. But now.
She said, I'm 23.
Okay.
Girl, listen. I was 23 11 years ago.
Dang,
11. Come on.
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the pro and cons. So the fact that you're like, you played soccer all those years, that's definitely a pro. Now, the con is that because you didn't do the scholarship aspect, because that's when a lot of people start doing their weightlifting. Yep. That's when they start doing their lifting, and that's when it becomes an additional part of their life. So all the Olympic weightlifting, all this other stuff. Because you went in straight into your dream, which is that's what you're supposed to do. Because when you get out of college, most of us don't know what we're gonna do. So that's kind of where you're at. So now I would. It's like a conversation we should have, just not on the interview. But I would say
no, it's real.
I would say. Definitely CrossFit might be your good bet, because just lifting weights in the gym, and you might be able to speak more to this than I can, just lifting weights in the gym might not get you to where you want to go. You want something where you're moving fast. So all those athletes who do that stuff, like football players, track athletes, all that stuff, they do more Olympic movements. So that's kind of something that you may want to do, and CrossFit definitely provides that kind of area for that. But again, that's That's me
I'm with you.
guessing, but we have the wrestler on the panel.
I mean, everybody uses different techniques. I'm mostly a Pilates and weight person more than anything else because I got a weak back. So I think it's what works for you, but I'm glad to hear you getting in the gym so you can lift all those ladies above your head like China.
I have seen some improvement in my muscle tone now that I've been lifting, so it is working.
I know. You're getting so much older.
Hey,
Right, every day I'm just getting older.
guys, I did this bicep curl. Tell me why I had a bicep up here.
Oh my gosh.
Look at this.
All right. So you kind of gave me your bucket list as far as the people that you want to wrestle like now. Do you have like almost like if I can wave a magic wand, anybody like across the board, WWE, international, all that stuff? Do you have a bucket list that way as far as like a wish list?
I've never even thought of it that way. I was always just thinking like, who's around now? Like Mickie James will always be my number one. Only like I said, because she's my idol. Like literally, she's inspired me so much. Like even in my wrestling, like some of the things I do are paying homage to her. So like Mickie James is number one. But I've never even thought of like I would love to wrestle like Mae Young and the Fabulous Moolah and like just I don't know. Like I feel like if I could bring back everybody, I would want to wrestle every single one of them. Because that's just that's just how I think. I'm just like, I want to wrestle everybody. I'll wrestle anybody, you know?
And now you did mention that you had a trial in Japan. Have you looked at doing stuff like in Mexico? I know they have some matches in Canada. Have you looked at doing stuff in different places other than the U.S.?
Definitely. I really, really, really want to go to the UK. I just went to Canada for the first time. It was my first time using my passport, and I've had my passport for 3 years. So when we went to Canada for Impact tapings, that was my first time going in Canada and using my passport. And they didn't even stamp it.
Yeah, they don't. Wait, did you drive or you flew over?
You got to stamp the passport,
we drove.
Yeah, when you drive, it's when you fly. That's when you get you get the stamp. Yeah.
That's so lame. I got
really
to use
is
it.
lame.
I didn't even get a stamp.
Can somebody send a stamp to Kiera?
I think you can ask them for the stamp, but yeah, they don't give a stamp. That's so usually.
I got a sticker somewhere once, and I was like, excuse me.
Oh, really?
This doesn't seem very official.
Yeah, if you're trying to cross the border like illegally, or you're like running from the cops, that's the best way to get into Canada, driving through.
Yo, shout out
Thank you.
Canadian inside
assassin.
information.
Just so you know.
All right, that's what my escape plan. Thank you.
just so you know.
I learned so much on this show.
I
How to
know.
get into Canada.
I'm telling you. So now, have you been kind of talking to people for the UK at all, or?
Yeah, I did. Something did fall through just recently. I might be going to Mexico soon. But I really want to go to the UK. I still have, even though that thing with Japan fell through, I still would like to go to Japan with another company. I just want to be able to travel the world. That was another thing getting into wrestling. I really wanted to like experience different cultures and different things. And I know wrestling would give me an opportunity to travel and see different things. But even when I travel in wrestling, I don't stay places for very long. So like I'm coming to California for bar wrestling in July. And I'm literally only there
for like
just
20
to wrestle
hours.
Pretty much. Like I don't get to see anything. And I've always wanted to come to California.
Yeah.
That's like one of my dream places to come. And I'm only there like just to wrestle.
Well, I mean, see if you can extend it, because we heard that you're coming down for bar wrestling. And for you guys who don't know, I hit you up and it's like, okay, how long you be here? She's like, I'm leaving there the next day, and I'm like. So I mean, see if you can extend your ticket a little bit, and we could take you around. We're in the hot spots. Like we know.
I don't know anywhere cool, so you could go with TK.
Well, yeah.
To get those spots.
Are you coming to the July 14th or the later one? Yeah, July 14th.
July 14th.
Oh, nice.
So we will be stalking you on that show for sure.
Well, I can't wait to see you.
Oh,
You won't see us.
oh God.
True stalker would never reveal their location.
Thank you, Evan. TK is out here putting it on blast.
Oh goodness. Okay. So as far as inspiration, who's like your? So you said Mickie James is like your main inspiration. Is there anybody in Impact Wrestling that you look at where you're just like, you look at their stuff and you don't want to emulate them or copy them, but you're like, I like how their work ethic is.
Angelina Love was definitely like one of my favorite knockouts growing up. Like I just loved her like aggression, and I loved her punky like rock style. I was really into that in like middle school. but I just loved like her attitude and just the way that she worked. And Angelina Love was definitely somebody I emulate, especially when I'm heel. Melina is also a little bit in there when I am heel. But the Beautiful People as a faction as well was something that I looked into. And of course, like Gail Kim, Brooke Tessmacher. I've met Brooke a couple of times. I actually just met her at WrestleCon this past year. And she, like, I swear we could be like booty twins or something. I always wanted to be in like a booty tag team with her.
Okay. All right.
You gotta have goals.
I know,
something like that. You gotta
something new you learn every day. Okay, so last question. So what have you learned being in the industry? So you know how you kind of go through life and you're like, man, if I knew this then, what I know now, I would have, might have done things a little bit different.
I don't know, because some of the things that I feel like that I've messed up on are things that aren't entirely wrong, like to the normal person. But like wrestlers are just weird. Like some of the things that I feel like I've messed up on, I feel like I shouldn't have gotten in trouble for in real life, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know, I can't remember like specific examples, but like even thinking of some of the stuff that, like I said, I've gotten in trouble for or like gotten heat for, I feel like are just things that people wouldn't normally get mad at.
Yeah. So lessons learned.
Indeed.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's like walking on eggshells in the wrestling world.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
And now, do you have anything to say to your fans out there? I know you talk to them on social media, but just a little something to all your fans.
I have the best fans in the world. I might not have a lot of them just yet, but I mean, they are like the best fans in the world. They tweet me all different types of things. They send me amazing like pictures that they've done for me and fan art, and I literally just have the best fans, and they support me no matter what, especially to that troll on Twitter. Like my fans, everybody was coming at that guy. Like my fans were on him. Like literally, he was set on fire. My fans set everybody on fire for me.
I like it.
So I have the best fans in the world, honestly.
Well, there you have it. We have the girl on fire, Kiera Hogan. Thank you so much. And you look beautiful. She's like, she texts me. She's like, I'm not wearing any makeup. It's like, girl, you fine.
Just glowing.
I look so fresh.
Look at that
I
natural
know.
glow.
I tell you, enjoy it, because as you get really older, it's a whole different beast.
When you actually,
Hopefully we get another interview before you get to your advanced age.
yeah, we gotta interview you at 34.
Look like this.
Black don't crack, so you probably still look like that. So thank you so much. We will see you at Bar Wrestling, so we definitely will check you out.
Yeah.
Other than
Definitely.
that, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, she's so cute and amazing.
she'll see you. She ain't gonna see me.
Oh gosh.
I'm just kidding. I actually
Keep that stalker mentality, man.
Wait, you won't be there? Or you will be
No,
there?
I won't be there on the 14th. There's a Ground Zero that same day, unfortunately.
Okay.
I'm so sad.
We'll talk about it later.
Scheduling conflict.
Scheduling conflict. Sarah's super busy. Anywho,
Yes.
hit us with that. What's going down, Mr. Evan?
Oh man, this is my live read time. It's live read time. Yeah. All these AfterBuzzers out here, y'all listen up. We are here at the network. We produce after shows for nearly all your favorite TV shows, from dramas, reality, TV, sci-fi, and more. There is no network that works harder to serve television fans. Just ask me, TK, Sarah the Rebs. Listen, but now we need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more YouTube channels. Besides helping us a ton, here's what's in it for you. It caters to specific content you already like directly to you. It brings your favorite after shows. You don't have to seek them out. And it suggests content for other channels or podcasts that might interest you. Subscribing to our YouTube channels will also help you discover new shows we're sure you'll love. Since you're already tuned in to our show, you might be interested in our SmackDown after show, NXT, Xbox One, 2, 360, and the whole thing, and a partridge and a pear tree, the whole kit and caboodle, the whole enchilada, everything else like that. And remember, we have our channels for other genres too. Please don't be shy about subscribing to them either. And if you're worried about those pesky notifications, don't be. They're optional. It's easy. Hit that subscribe button for an easier AfterBuzz experience, and let us know that you did in the comments. We'll shout you out on air, just like I do my man Johan Payne. Yeah, if you want to be on that level, subscribe.
Joseph.
Bosa, Dan, J. Will. Oh my goodness.
Trini Boy.
Star Drew. Well, see what I'm saying? That's what happens when you subscribe. You get the personal touch. from America's Chocolate Sweetheart.
And if you add enough money, he might actually take another button out.
It's all
That's how we're raising money for the show.
we gotta listen.
We gotta get the little chart where we color in the thermometer
I ain't never
to
been
the next button.
I ain't never been eye candy a day in my life, so all this is appreciated.
Well, apparently, like, I mean,
a day in my life.
That's
That's why you acting out?
That's why you gotta act out, man. You gotta show out sometime. But I appreciate you.
Rosa was loving you.
I love Rosa's sweet, man. Rosa's.
Katrina was loving you.
Oh, the Brit. Shout out to the Brit. She don't eat meat though, man. I'm like, come on, they don't eat meat though. These vegetarians, these vegans, man. These vegans stress me out.
Listen, think about it.
Vegans stress
think
me
about
out.
it though. But they leave more honey for you and more beef for you.
Real talk.
They're actually just leaving more.
I
of the
like
food
that
for
thought
you.
process. And yes, they'll live till like 176 years old, and I'll die at 52. But
Because we got a honey crisis right
I'm
now.
still hating. We do though. Pete, listen, don't sleep on the honey
Don't
crisis.
sleep on it. But the vegans are saving us, so thank you, vegans.
You're welcome.
People don't realize that honey crisis is actually real. It's real.
Now we know.
Speaking of honey, let's hit that star of the week.
Why is it speaking of... Okay, it's not that important to me.
Yo, go.
Women's Pro Wrestling Weekly.
Star of the...
We got the star. We got it.
Do we have the music?
Yeah.
Nah, cue the music, DJ.
Do we have music?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Our Women's Pro Wrestling Star of the Week is Jinny, also known as Jinny Couture. She's an English wrestler who was recently seen in the WWE United Kingdom tournament. Unfortunately, in the four-way, she was injured, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. Jinny got her start as the first female graduate of Progress Wrestling's dojo. I want to tell y'all the name of the dojo because it's the Projo, and that's kind of my favorite thing I've ever heard in my whole life. She wrestled her first match in 2015, so very new to the game to be getting to WWE. It's really awesome. She quickly made a name for herself as one of the trailblazing women wrestlers of England. She was one of the people having like the first women's matches that were highly ranked when people go back and rank the matches. So a big trailblazer doing a lot of great stuff. Like we said, unfortunately in the Fatal 4-Way she was injured, had to be escorted to the back, and it was turned into a 3-way, but I'm really hopeful that we're going to see more of her in NXT and that we get to see her back. So here's hoping for a speedy recovery. Yeah. And my recommended match originally was a match she had with Toni Storm back in the day, but it has been taken off of YouTube. Ooh. So now I'm going to recommend her match versus Jimmy Havoc at Riptide Wrestling. You can find it on YouTube. It's an intergender match, and they go hard.
Word up.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
Star of the week.
Maybe we need an outro song.
I know. What are you Flavor Flav? Like,
Listen. No.
That's what we'll play at the
nearly
end.
that
Somebody
black.
Clip that.
He's like extra black.
Thank you so much. Don't forget, you guys, we know there's a lot of podcasts, all that good stuff. If you are listening to us on iTunes, 5 stars. If it's anything less, just don't bother. YouTube, we are reading your comments. I didn't read them last
I'll be responding to them too, though.
Okay, so one of us.
I'll be doing that for like 3 days.
Reading the comments.
I forgot this one.
I mean, it was Carnival this week. If you follow me on Instagram, I was lit and drunk. So
other stuff to do.
And covered in bejewels.
And covered in
she was bedazzled like mug, man.
It was. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just go on my.
She was
all bedazzled up like a mug.
That's like mug. So definitely iTunes. Follow us on IG and Twitter. WPW Weekly. We have been okayed for a season 2 of WPW Weekly.
Word. That was a DJ sound. If y'all know what that is. That fan. Y'all know that's it. But listen, man.
I feel like it was really clear.
Not everybody knows about that sound right there. Not everybody knows.
There we go. So season 2, I'm already prepping for it. We have guests lined up for the rest of this month and August. A lot of great guests. Other than that, where can everybody find you? Find people.
You can find me in Sarah the Rebel everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, Twitch. I don't know, your mom's house, wherever you want to find me. Sarah the Rebel. There's an H because that's the only way to spell
Spelled
Sarah.
is the way is the God intended. And the God in the Bible
Check
intended.
it. You can have an I or an H.
That's it.
And she likes orange soda.
Yo, it's your boy. I'm Evan T. Mac. Twitter, Instagram. Yo, holla at me. Yo, Pena, what up?
Jalapeno.
Oh goodness. Other than that, you can find me on everything, Canadian Assassin, at TK Trinidad, all that good stuff for you. So we will check you out next week.
Word.
Ciao.
Bye.
Producers Kevin Undergaro, Maria Menounos, Phil Svitek, producer TK Trinidad, and me, Mark Donica, your voice of AfterBuzz TV Wrestling. We ask you to rate and comment on iTunes, subscribe to AfterBuzz Wrestling on YouTube, and find us on all social media. Thank you for watching Women's Pro Wrestling Weekly. See you next week.